How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Deadlock ranked coaching review. So this is another from a user on Reddit. The current rank is Archon 1. They're playing Abrams. And they said that this game, it felt like it was going really well, and they thought that they were going to win, and then it kind of fell apart kind of towards the end. So we're going to do our best to take a look at that and try to see if we can figure out exactly what happened. I'm also going to try to keep the editing a little bit less on this one, try to keep more game continuity, so we'll see how that goes. Let me know in the comments. So, Abrams versus Vindicta. Abrams pretty good laner. I'm not really sure if this is a great matchup, but I would anticipate it's at least okay. Probably just gonna sit here and go for these last hits. Yep, I love that. Just make sure that we're not gonna miss any of these minions. Otherwise, big fan. I maybe try to push and get pressure early before she starts getting nice and strong with her gun flying around. But perfectly good. Got all your minions. She got all her minions except that one deny, of course, which was excellent. I would be looking more at her denies, especially if you can keep an eye on these minions. You know, you're able to get close to your own minions, and it's a lot easier to deny if you're closer to them, especially because you have a shotgun, so you can pre-fire those denies. So if you're allowed to stay in the minion wave and she's clearing them fast, just focus on the denies. I mean, really make it hard for her. One thing here is 2 minutes is coming up, so this camp is going to show up. And while I like this charge, you lost the one minion back there. Definitely don't prioritize doing damage over getting those minions. It's so incredibly important. Very good deny. So here 2 minutes. I like pushing this wave really hard. Kill this wave and then take this camp. So you're going to buy here, which I don't mind at all. Melee lifesteal. Excellent choice on Abrams. Yeah, so especially on this side, you have a camp and she doesn't. So it's a really big part of the advantage in this lane is being able to take your camp. I'm concerned you're going to... Okay, you're going back to buy again. Also great. As long as you're not missing minions, go back to buy every single time you can. If you're not going to lose anything for it, just getting a little bit stronger to be really big. So like right now, you're up an entire item on this Vindicta, and it can make the difference. Close quarters, totally good item. Maybe not a great choice against Vindicta. I mean, I'm splitting hairs here, honestly. I think this is fine. Just maybe something to help with your poking a little bit, but your sustain, is totally fine. She's not really pressuring you. In the pause, I will definitely edit out the pause. Let's hear. So I like the really, really good harassment. Again, I think once she gets out here, you should just let her go. It's not the end of the world that she gets away. You're probably not going to kill her there. Back up, get your last hits, and do this camp. Once she's low like that, it's a nightmare. Yeah, the biggest thing I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to this camp timer. First, it shows up at 2 minutes, and then it respawns every 4 minutes. So 2 minutes, you should be looking to push your wave, make sure you don't miss any last hits, and do the camp really fast. Then at 6 minutes, same deal. You'd be up some souls here. It'd be kind of nice. You're in a very dominant position in your lane, so you should be looking to try to get further ahead. And really, the best way to do that typically isn't kills. It's, these little side objectives. The side camps, getting these golden... excellent. Very, very good. The other one on the bridge there is a good choice as well. Yeah, this is great. The only thing I wanted to see you do is get that camp back there. Otherwise, I'm very happy. You could go back and buy. You could save up for melee charge. You're really not under any pressure. So, yeah, I just love doing these last hits. And I don't love trying to take the Guardian so much as... Abrams. You could push up really hard and try to do it. But I don't really see a need for you to do so. You're doing so well with your denies and your last hits that, just Be happy about being ahead in lane. And for a lot of the other reviews I've done, this is exactly what I'm talking about, where this Abrams player is doing an excellent job saving ammo, only shooting the minions when they get really low. That's very specifically, they're setting them up to do a punch, and it's easier on Abrams because his punches, does so much damage. But he's not just mowing down minions typically, just trying to get them low. He just waits for his minions, they'll get them low, or wait till they come up, they can punch them. You don't have to be pushed all the time. This Abrams is like super winning this lane. No worry about being ganked or anything. It's just extremely typical solo lane. You find that solo lanes are pretty passive as you go further up, typically, just because if no one's making a mistake, kills don't happen all the time. It's pretty risky, and you just don't have to do it. And it's not like this Vindicta's gonna push this Abrams really hard. A lot of souls. Okay, buys kinetic dash. Pretty good choice. We'll see how you use it. I would like to see you rotate, if that's going to be your item choice. I think it's a good item. Oh yeah, this lineup is hard. I typically don't even. Okay, I don't know if you're trying to line up to get all three of them. I don't know if you can do that anymore. I like trying to hit the inside of that first minion on the right, or the left, it doesn't matter, and try to clip the middle one. And kind of the side of that minion closer towards the middle one. And really line it up to make sure that you at least hit the one guy, and, don't... It's not the end of the world if you don't hit them both, but missing them is kind of rough. But I like going and doing that camp. You could have done it twice now. You did it at the 6-minute mark, so just try to do it a little bit sooner. Otherwise, very happy. You should definitely go back and spend your souls. You're very rich. And this is another situation where you have 2,000 souls. And so, let's assume this Vindicta is spent, and yeah, they're pretty close to being all spent down. Item-wise, you're about equal to this Vindicta, which is... not where you want to be. You're so much stronger. You have so many more souls. Sure, you got levels, but really spend up that advantage. You're not fighting, so I'm not worried about it. All right. Oh, wrong side of the map. Yeah, really quiet. So I would like to see you maybe start pushing a little bit more aggressively in this lane. Your team is ahead. The Infernus looks like they swapped over to the lane next to you. So, Yamato is pushed back. I think you could push up a little bit and maybe start trying to take the Guardian at this point. Or trying to push up and, steal her camp would be great, and do her big camp. But, at this point, you're pretty strong. As long as your team's giving you good comms and you're paying attention to that lane next to you, I would be trying to play a little bit more aggressive at this point. See if you can take your Guardian. At about the 8-minute point, that's when more roaming starts to happen. And at 10, I would definitely like to see you get that bridge buff. But yeah, with this kinetic dash, you can rotate pretty quick. Go for a shield charge. If you get it, great. If you don't. But if you're going to want to go for these rotates, you definitely want to make sure your lane is pushed up and you're not going to lose a wave for it. So this, I don't care for. I like the aggression against her, and it's possible you could get a kill, but you really don't want to be missing your minions for it. Likely what's just going to happen is she's going to go back. Oh, you didn't miss any minions. That was excellent. Good job not overstaying and pushing that. Just be really careful that you keep in mind that you don't miss your minions going for stuff like that. Yeah, now that you push her out of lane, I would push. Definitely get up in there. With melee charge, you have so much ammo, and it's really easy to get good damage on these walkers. Nice use of kinetic dash. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good fight. I don't actually mind coming back here as Abrams. You're so big and tanky that it's really hard for your opponent One thing there is you were a little close to the Guardian. If you get in that good position and you get back there, and you're feeling safe and you know where all your rotates are, don't worry about, just step a little bit back. Don't get fried by that walker or that Guardian. You got the kill, but you really didn't need to get the kill there. I mean, look at how much damage you took.
Someone's using their noodle.
Let's see. There's so much damage from the tier 1 Guardian. So I don't think that was necessary. If you would have just like stepped back a little bit, cleared the minions if she was being really evasive. But that's such a commanding position, and if you're just standing there clearing minions and poking her, you're going to get that Guardian every time. I don't mind coming back here and getting this camp. I would have liked to see you get this little camp again and this big camp up here. These are just a little far back, and this was changed in the patch, so this is going to be less of a big deal.
Run them down.
But just be careful in that when you want to do camps, that you're trying to do camps that leave you in a good spot to help your team. These camps up here were done. I think Shiv went and did them, so it's not as big of a deal, but doing this little camp could be nice. Stealing their camp, you know, you're so strong. You should be pushing your advantage right now. Sure, farming is pushing your advantage and, you know, getting those jungle camps, but this is one of Abrams' stronger points in the game. So, you know, let's make something of this. Get up there, push, be belligerent. Look at how many people they have over in this lane. If you would have been pushing your lane instead of going back and doing these camps, you would have an opportunity to take Walker. If you would have done this camp over here instead of doing your back camps, kind of same situation. So if you're this far ahead, I mean, your team is 11k ahead. Push harder. If you want to do camps and you think you should be doing camps, do their camps. Who's going to come fight you? You're stronger than everyone on their team. It would take 2 players to come over to deal with you at this point. So be aggressive. If 2 people come over, I mean, you might even be able to fight them. But 2 people come over, you shield charge, you leave, not a big deal. And then you've pulled 2 people over from their team to this side of the map, so it's kind of a 1v1 trade. Yeah, Shiv's up here. I mean, go in there and get that walker. This is really passive. We don't see them on the... Oh, alright, now Warden's here. I would have left him to deal with that. When you're pushing with someone else, you should also keep an eye on their relative strength as well. Your Shiv is huge, and he doesn't need your help. He is more than capable of dealing with that. And what would have helped him way more is if this walker was already dead. If you would have stayed and killed that walker instead of helping him, he might have been able to get out of there. It was kind of a tough spot. Obviously, everyone knows this doesn't need to be said. Throwing out GG that early is not useful for anyone. It's not good for morale, especially your own. I mean, the game isn't over, and we know the end of this game because I requests losses. You know, they win this game, and she's calling GG for no reason. So, don't underestimate the power of morale and trying to keep a positive attitude on your guys' team. You say GG, people go, "Oh, Yamato's given up. Why am I playing? Why should I try if they're not going to try and they've already given up?" So, yeah. GG is something you say at the end of a game because it's a good game. Don't just say it because, oh, we lost, the game's over. The game's not over, especially this game. I would have maybe liked to see you make sure that you got that urn. Come over here and fight with your team and get this walker. You got a kill there, which is excellent. Super good use of the teleporter, but taking this walker is more important than that kill. Yeah, and then here, I would like you to push up. Your team is making huge play over here. Again, if you pull 2 of them, that's excellent. Yeah, so this should be a good situation for your team. Here, I'd start, you know, you got chained. I would have tried to run there. You know, stay away, see if you can get them to chase you, spend some more time. But I don't even mind you dying there, honestly. Nope. Shift is what we're looking for. Like, you made space for your team. They come in, they get those 2 guardians. You know, I would have probably backed up here. I think this is a little too aggressive. But take those 2 Guardians. That's excellent. Yeah, Paradox over here. Someone went in a little too hard. Yeah, that Paradox went a little deep. They probably got a swap. And then everyone ended up backing out. There was nothing they were ever going to get from doing this. This Shiv thinks he's huge. He might be pretty big, but again, this is a classic overstay. Once you died, you should do your best to communicate to your team. Hey, I died. We should probably back up. Do your best to try to get them out of there. But that was a lot of souls that was given to them that didn't need to. Trading your life for these 2 Guardians, you know, 2 people had to come and stop you. I don't mind it. That's a totally fine, good trade. But your team dying there was pretty bad. I would have rather seen them push, take this, and then try to take some good objectives. If you can take these big camps from your opponents, this is enormous. A good try on that charge there. This wave really needs to be pushed back, like really desperately. Anyone could do this, but you were right there, and you went for that Infernus. You got to push the light wave back first. There's no reason to lose this free Guardian. And this is kind of an easy way to see, and I would just like to pause here. This is a really easy time to see that the game is going downhill fast. So you're ahead, and your team is all up here fighting, but fighting is not pushing. Pushing is pushing. I anticipate you're going to lose this Guardian, probably for free to these minions. These minions have a big push here. It just takes... Haze comes over here for 1 second, and then your walker's gone. There's no reason to lose these buildings just because you're so far ahead. You shouldn't think, oh, it doesn't matter, let's just win the fight and win the game. Take care of these little things. Do these waves, and tell your team, hey guys, we need to... You know, it's hard. Not everyone wants to listen, and if you're talking a lot, sometimes people will think, oh, this guy knows everything. But try to communicate and say, hey, we really need to push back our waves. You know, be that guy who's out here pushing back these waves. One person turning around and doing this is enormous. Ideally, I would like to see Mo and Krill do it. They can do it pretty quick. They can rotate pretty fast, and they're the most behind. They can benefit the most from farm. I don't really want to see you clear waves if this is a team and they're all working together. I don't want to see you clearing waves because you're the biggest, most farmed person on the team. I want you to be fighting. I want you to be pushing and trying to take structures. But this stuff back here is super, super important.
I'll put a stop to this.
The other big thing about it is now you're pushed, but since the minions aren't here, you can't take this Guardian as easily. Sure, you could have backdoored it, but you know that adds another layer of fear. Excellent. I'm very happy Paradox went back here to do this. This is the exact right call. She doesn't need to be up here, but not a big deal. Yep, that's excellent. Just backdoor it. It would be nice to have the minions up here to take the shrine, but again, not a big deal. So when you get into the base like this, your goals should be to take out these shrines and ideally get the patron down, but not super important. Someone needs to be on this shrine over here taking it. Right now, this fighting isn't really for anything. I think you could have taken that shrine pretty easily, but that's not bad at all. Go back, start stealing some of their camps. This is excellent. So I would leave that one little minion there. That denies the camp from spawning again quicker, and it's not really worth a lot of souls. So just try to leave one. The only time I won't do that is these huge camps because they're worth so much. But if you're stealing their camps, leave one minion. It denies them quite a bit of souls. You're pretty far up here at this point. Yeah, I don't like this charge at all. You don't know where anyone on their team is, and you're super far up. You're huge, but you're not 1v6 huge. None of your team is here for this. And sure, you make it out, but this is kind of a lot of wasted time. These waves need to be pushed back. These camps could be stolen. I mean, you guys could talk about running the urn. Another, a big thing, and this is not for you, Abrams doesn't do these huge camps very fast. Someone should be doing these big camps on the map. They're worth a lot of souls. At this point of the game, Infernus should be able to do them very easily, very, very quickly. There are some characters where you can even use your ult. And, oh, I'm sorry, Infernus on the other team. Bebop can use his ult and clear those camps really, really nicely. Ivy can also do it pretty quick too with the bombs, and the Lash can do it insanely fast. He's probably one of the faster people at doing them once he can do them. So, you know, but as Abrams here, you can be calling out on your team. Hey, someone should be doing our big camps. Let's make space, make time, do these big camps. Shiv, I'll push this. Please take this big camp. It's worth a lot of souls, and these middle ones are, you know, they're both teams. So we have this push up here. I like how everyone's pushed. If these people are being careful, if Monkrill and Bebop are being careful, I don't mind this at all. Just, you know, tell them, hey, be careful. I'm, again, communicating. I'm bringing up this lane. Be careful. But this is what I want to see. Shove everything as teams, you know, try to be as cohesive as you can, but while shoving everything. And then this situation gets kind of, you know, more interesting. So we have 3 people over here. So you 4 could actually push in if you grouped up and, you know, try to peel for this lane by causing pressure over here. It doesn't take a lot to get that shrine, and once you get those 2 shrines, you get that flex slot. So overall, I mean, I like what your team is doing. This is what I would like to see from a team that's ahead. Be oppressive, push up, have all these lanes pushed all the time. Take their camps while you're free. I think you're a little too far back from your team here. While you guys were all pushing up these lanes, I liked this, but there's going to be a fight here, and your whole team's going to be fighting, and, you know, you should be there for that. If this was a closer camp, I would have liked it more. If you were pushing this wave, you know, trying to get something in there, I would have liked it more. But you're late to this fight. And what's funny is that normally my advice is pretty opposite, that I think these fights aren't good. This is an excellent choice. This is what you're here for. This is winning the fight. If you take this and, you know, you trade 1 for 1, 2 for 1, you know, this is what we're here for. So that was excellent. Really good job prioritizing what's important. Here's where I see a lot of throws happen. Take this patron and leave. You're probably not going to get in that pit and finish. And trying to get the whole team out of here is what you want. This is really aggressive. It's really, really hard to end here. Oh, man, that's... I'm wondering how this falls apart. This should be a pretty... Yeah, okay. You're all pretty low. And it's really, really hard to siege that unless you have, like, an overwhelming advantage. Once you guys take that first shrine and then that... and then you get the patron down... Everyone's really low, more or less, in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes alts are down, right? We don't have Bebop ult, we don't have Shiv ult, we don't have Paradox ult. So, it's almost always better to, once you do that, reset. If you guys would have just pulled back and did boss, I mean, this game's over. It's so hard to fight through the super creeps, it's so hard to fight through the rejuve. So I would have liked to see you guys pull back on the way back out, you know, strip any of these easy camps you can get really quickly, and then do boss.
Help me with the idol.
We'll see if your team responds to this at all. Normally, I think this is kind of a little bit aggressive. I mean, it's like the comeback mechanic for them, but this can be a little scary to try and dunk this here. And at this point, I would drop it. So you're telling your team to help you with the idol, but telling them and then just doing it is asking for trouble. You might get the dunk here. This is pretty surprising. That was really, really risky. If they kill you there, and then they get that urn, it's now an even game again. And you were already ahead. It was just really, really risky. So just be careful about that. So at this point, you buy Frenzy, which is a good item. And, you know, is nice and tanky. Try not to ignore too many of your tanky items. At this point, I would probably be calling for a retreat. So once these fights near their base drag out 15 seconds, the healing from the fountain is so strong. Yeah, this is not good. This is way too aggressive. You guys are down 2 players. They have the healing there. you're not going to be able to kill. You're not a 40-minute haze. Okay, so here's exactly what happened here, and we can walk this through as you respawn. So you are very objectively minded, which is what happened when you took this shrine over here, right? And I loved that, but that last objective, you're trying to get that patron down at the end there, is very dangerous. You're really, really close in there, and it's really slow. You're not gonna just be able to stand in there and stomp there and do it. I actually don't mind Paradox taking that if she thinks she can get out. I don't... Yeah, she's got blink and stuff. She should have no problem getting out of that. And... Oh, we got a DC pause. Oh. Okay, so now I've paused it. So, you... let's see. Maybe I can just bring it back here. We can talk about this situation a little bit. Alright. So, at this point, you guys should probably back up. The team is, and I can't bring up the chat here, but someone said, oh, let's push fast. And you do want to end this game as quickly as possible because they have a lot of late game characters here. This Infernus, this Wraith, this Haze, this Vindicta, when they come online, it's going to start being difficult to deal with. And I understand that you guys want to push fast, but once these two players died, and these death timers aren't accurate here, once they died, this is no longer a good situation. Sure, you're really far up on souls of them, but Shiv is one of your more farmed players, so he's a pretty big one to lose. And the fountain healing is so big and strong. So this Haze here, if she doesn't die, she's just going to go back to the fountain and heal, and then she's a full player again. All this damage didn't mean anything. So at this point, I'm telling my team to retreat. We should just back up, reset the situation. Oh, once again, we're losing a walker here. So this desperately needs to be done. You guys don't need to be all pushed up like this. It's too much. And then, let's assume for whatever reason, this is a good place in, where you want to be. First off, these minions all have to be killed. Abrams is not great at that, but, someone clearing these minions and getting your minions into the patron kills it really fast and causes a lot of pressure. And then here, as Abrams, so if it's a situation where everyone's getting in the pit and everyone's shooting at it, great. If someone needs to do damage to it, awesome. But you need to be creating space and making it so the people who are good at killing the patron can kill the patron and give them the area to come in here. You can't just run into the patron and then just expect everyone to be behind you and that it's going to die. They can't do that because they're getting attacked by all these other players. So you're running into this patron, and who do we expect here to be able to kill the patron on your side? Well, this isn't a gun Ivy, so she'd probably do it pretty slow. Paradox, like at the best. So let's see, where is Paradox? Let's watch what Paradox is doing. So you're gonna run into the pit here and basically get pushed out. And what's happening to Paradox? All right, well, she's fighting, she's clearing the minions, and she's got this haze on her. If you would have showed up, and this Moen Krill's doing an excellent choice. If you would have showed up over here and protected your Paradox and had played more with your Paradox in mind and gotten a kill with Moen Krill here and killed these two players, this might be over. The game, this swings and suddenly a better fight. I don't think you should be in here in the first place. And then also you have this Vindicta up here, shooting, making it hard to approach. So you're big and strong. You think, no one's in here. I can get into the pit. Let's just end this thing. But there's a lot of other things happening over here on the map that you could be affecting and making this siege more successful. You're not going to kill the patron by yourself. It's not that late into the game. It's going to take a long time. So if you want to kill the patron at this point, you need to clear all the minions and make space for your strong damage dealers who can, continuously poke these people out when they come up. Make space for them. this Haze sleeping this Paradox and making her low. Now you don't have anyone that can deal with this Vindicta. This Vindicta is just going to shoot you guys like crazy, and you're getting pushed out. So here, yeah, Moan Krill doesn't have that much support. He gets pushed out. Paradox is low. We know you die over there. So just when you come into these siege situations, try to view, and it's really, really hard when you're playing, but try to view it as, you know, the strategy in the team and how you can be helping out the most and where you can have the best effect. Obviously you want to kill the patron, but are you the best person to be doing that? You know, who's clearing the minions, who's protecting the people that are supposed to be doing that? So just be careful about that. You're a one-man army and you're really strong, but try to facilitate everyone else on your team if you can. Okay, let's get us past this pause. Okay, we're dead. Okay, we're past the pause. Let's... Okay, Paradox is out. This Shiv should not be up here. You gotta tell, you know... At this point, when you lose a bunch of players like this, you gotta defend your structures first. So, I don't think you should be up here in this fight. I expect Yamato is going to take that walker on the side. But your first instinct coming out from that death is, let's fight him again, let's fight him again, let's fight him again. You have a lot of chores that need to be done on your side of the map first that are way, way, way more important than this. You just lost this walker for free. One person going over here dealing with this Yamato, you know, stops her from taking the walker. It doesn't have to be you, it could be anybody. So we group up again. We'll see, try to do this siege. There's no reason to have lost this walker. Bebop goes and clears the minions. Love it. We need to push up these minion waves, though. When you push into a base, don't just push one lane and just, hey, let's get into the base. If you kill everyone on their team, that's one thing. But if you're doing these slow sieges, everything needs to be pushed up. And this is... so this is really tough. My advice, well, you shouldn't have gone back here to get the bridge buff. If you wanted the bridge buff, you should have gotten it sooner. But let's pop back a second here. So your team is fighting. What I probably would have done here is, with you there, it's still a 5v5. They have their warden dead, so it's still a pretty good fight. I like coming over here and pushing these minions and getting these minions pushed up, but only to facilitate the siege further. Every wave of minions you get into their base is just more and more pressure, and it really adds up. Sure, they can get killed pretty fast, but if they're fighting you, they're not fighting the minions. It adds up. It's very impressive. So I like coming over here and clearing the wave, but you should be with your team helping them. I don't think that your team should necessarily be up here fighting, but they've already made that choice, and so the best move to win this game is to be up there fighting with them. Yeah, especially Bebop comes back. This could have been like a 6v5. Get a bunch of kills here. And that's great. We trade out a little bit. So you're up here just kind of milling around, and then this warden gets you eventually. Oh, or not. Wow. You are so big and strong. Yeah, I mean, excellent job not dying. Be careful you're not ignoring your resistances very much. You get a lot of resistance from Frenzy. You get a lot of resistance from Frenzy, but you don't have any real Spirit resist to speak of. You have 6% Spirit resist. Focusing more on your green items here, just getting tankier would be really nice. Yeah, it really improved Spirit armor. If you look, they got, or I'm sorry, they're very high bullet damage. It's really only the Warden and the Yamato that are going to be giving you a hard time with your Spirit damage. Oh, and Wraith to a lesser extent. Oh, obviously Furnace, of course. Yeah, improved Spirit armor here would be really nice. It would make you so tanky. Okay, let's back up here again. So here, this is it's like a 3v3, but they're coming back up. Yeah, fine retreat. Bebop, yeah, dies there. Nothing really you can do about it. Not the end of the world. Here, come push this wave out. Really more focus on these side waves, and especially as Abrams, and now the game's even again because of so many of these just failed attempts where you guys were really trying to push it really hard, when really if you take it slow but fast, right? So you can say, hey, we want to push and end the game, but the way you push and end the game is to slowly, incrementally push up everything. Make it a slow suffocation of defeat. It's not just run down one lane and kill it. But when you get pushed back like this, start backing and do your waves. Which is kind of different from if it's kind of even, or that situation here where you took their shrines and their patron. I said, oh, back and do the camps. Well, that's because everything's pushed up. That's more of a back and a reset. This is, we got pushed out of our wave, or pushed out of their base, and okay. Yeah, excellent job not overcommitting there. Finish the last thought. So when you get pushed out and you're low on players, back up and do your waves safely. You lost this walker over here for no reason. Instead of you just like going back, taking this wave, now you showed up at the same time as Paradox, and that was one less person to see this walker and think, oh shit, someone needs to defend this walker from minions. You lost this just to minions for no reason. So when you're back up, when you guys get kicked out of their base, do the waves first. It's very, very important. If you leave their base as a choice, hey, we took their patron, we don't think we can push anymore, let's back up. Everything's pushed in, yeah, do their camps, get all their stuff, and maybe try to do mid boss in that situation, but just be careful of that. So I really like this. You teleported over, maybe a little bit of a scary teleport, but not a big deal. You open up on that Yamato, but then once you see that Warden, you back up. Not a big deal. Yeah, you're not scared of that. I see a lot of people run scared of that move because, sometimes it gets you killed, but no, you're not scared. That's not a problem. All right, we're pushing. See, here once again, you guys are still stronger than them. They have a soul lead on you, but you guys are all, whether it's more mechanically gifted or their characters just haven't come online yet, this is a huge mistake. What are we doing up here? How are we going to win? And I hear you calling, hey, let's back up, let's go mid, but you're up here with them. Your Shiv, your Paradox, they were doing a good job. They were back here pushing. You could have also pushed these waves. Even if you want to go mid, push this wave. Pushing this wave makes mid easier. Now, if they wanted to come and contest mid, which I don't think is a good idea, but they have ziplines up to it. Knowing when to fight with your team and when not to fight with your team is hard. And when your team is all the way up there and you want them to retreat, I understand, especially as Abrams, where you're big and you push people around, you want to be up there to maybe try to get someone out or, help. But at some point, if you really think that they shouldn't be up there, you should go back and start doing something important. And your Paradox and your Shiv pushing back these lanes, they made this push possible. So a little early on that ult. Definitely try to save it if you're only going to hit the one person with it. It's also really nice to be able to reposition, so you don't have to use it necessarily as an initiation, but if you had ult there, you could have gotten up on that ledge really easily and killed that Wraith. Excellent. Getting up there and dealing with that Wraith is also something that would be very nice and good for you to do as the Abrams. She doesn't want to fight you that close, but her being up there and having that high ground against your other carries is really hard to deal with. Yeah, be careful about diving people in the fountain like that. It can be really scary. Yeah, but here, how are we falling apart here? This Vindicta's a nightmare. You have knockdown. You should use it. Look for her. Even if you're knocking her down into base.
Take their Titan.
But once again, you get in these fights, and they're not fast enough. When you are fighting them in their base, with this healing here, the fight needs to end, what's the word? Decisively. It needs to decisively end in 10 seconds. Every time you opened up on that Wraith and in Fountain, and then she got back, that's a disaster. And you guys are running out of resources. You're getting low. Even if you're full health, the rest of your team doesn't have as much sustain as you, and they're dying. They're getting low. They want to fall back. So the reason that this is failing is because this works if you can run in and then bam, you kill Wraith. Bam, you kill Haze. You kill Warden. You win the game. But that's not what's happening here. You guys are struggling to get the kills because these fights are longer and they're playing defensively. This needs to be a slower process, and you need to get these minions coming in here with you. You have the Rejuvenator. Now with these super minions, they're so big and strong. If you're in here with all your minions and this fight is going along, that's fine because you have the push of the minions that adds that, that sustain. You're constantly getting minions coming in over and over and over, and they have the sustain of their Fountain, but now it's even. Here, you guys don't have any amount of sustain. There's nothing that's building for your team, while their team has this infinite healing source. So I'm not surprised that this fight doesn't go well. I'm not sure if your charge is up there, and you should know, as an Abrams player, you should look and know that Haze doesn't have Unstoppable here. You should have charged her out of that. The replay is a little bit busted, so I don't know if you had charge up, but you should know any of these big ults, specifically Haze, and now actually with the Warden changes, know if they have Unstoppable. To Unstoppable, charge them out of their ults. It's the biggest thing you can do for your team. This you're fighting here. I don't. No, you're still behind players. That Bebop got a hook, and that's great. But we need to be spamming. Hey, retreat. Say in chat if you don't have your voice chat enabled. I really recommend it. It can be kind of scary to do it for whatever reasons. Some people are definitely socially anxious or what have you, and that's fine. But it's really important to just speak up. Say, hey guys, we need to back up. Stop trying to hook them. Come back here and start doing our lanes. Once again, you've lost Rejuvenator, so now you need the lanes pushed. And you're waiting for your team to come up. So yeah, just pushing lanes at this point, really keeping that as far forward as possible. It's so important, and it's worth a lot of souls. This urn is really scary. They're all up. You guys have one objective that someone needs to push this back. Mo and Krill, whatever. But the whole team needs to be here for this. I'm worried that they're just going to dunk on you, and the soul lead is going to get even further behind. I've mentioned this before, but don't the urn is not a single player objective. It is a team objective. Just because you can do it by yourself doesn't mean you should be doing it. Excellent, we got there, and it's great that everyone showed up here. That makes it a lot better. It's still really scary without this Mo and Krill. A 5v6, if they were a little bit better coordinated, and okay, you did kill Wraith. If they were better coordinated, that's a really scary situation that could fall apart. So just because it went well, don't think that it was the best decision. Be really careful when you're running the urn. Very important, very good objective to do. Again, here, I'm beating a dead horse. At this point, you should know what I'm about to say. What's wrong, everyone? We're going to pause here for 5 seconds. What's wrong with this push? What do I not like about it? Sure, they have 2 players that on the opposite team, but that's not a ton. What's the biggest problem with this push? It's that none of their lanes are pushed up. Mo and Krill's back here dealing with it, which is excellent. I don't think Mo and Krill can necessarily come to this fight. And then this is the situation that comes up a lot in pubs, especially, where, let's not picking on Abrams. Let's just, for example, Abrams says push, let's push, and Mo and Krill's back here, seeker shot, but pushing back waves, and then this push inevitably fails. And they like to, it's really easy to point at Mo and Krill and be like, oh, if Mo and Krill was there, we would have won. Well, maybe not. But it's such an unnecessary risk. You don't need to YOLO your whole team in there trying to win. It's just, you're trying to throw away the game. The way you win is slow, pushing your advantage, every little insurmountable thing, and you make this giant hill that they can't get past. This wave pushing in here is massive. Someone has to come here and deal with this. Someone coming here and dealing with this is another player not defending. So when you're pushing into the base, once again, don't look at it as, oh, we all group up and we wedge ourselves in. It's a bigger strategy. It's a slower process of push up all the waves, pick them apart, look for picks. When that doesn't happen, or if it does happen, great, push your advantages. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. Keep everything pushed up here and start doing their camps. Look for more picks, suffocate them, make it so they can't leave their base. And then eventually you just win. There's nothing they can do from that position. I don't mind giving them the structures here. Going out there and dying alone is really scary. So I like, back up, give them the walkers. It is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. It's more flex slots for them, which makes them even scarier, but it is what it is. Yep, you're very very smart to be cautious of this. You also, I still don't think you have any spirit resist. Yeah, you have 17% spirit resist. I don't think you can fight that Warden's ult anymore. This might be a scary situation. Yeah, this was an overcommitment, and I think the Shiv baited you into it a little bit, which is not the Shiv's fault. It's your fault for taking the bait. But let's back up here and look. So I praised you initially. Come on. And this is all the good stuff you guys are missing out on when I edited it out. So here, I praise this immediately because this was a very good choice. You're right to be scared of this Warden. Why is he being so aggressive? When situations like this, always assume that your opponent is good. Don't assume that your opponent is bad unless you've been given some other information by playing this game. So I'm assuming this Warden is a good player of sound mind. Why is he doing this? You're on your side of the map, and I mean you're Abrams. You're pretty big. You're a pretty good 1v1. He's even souls with you, but this is really aggressive. So I like your instinct. Back up. I'm not fighting this guy. There's no reason to fight this guy. Oh, and you know what? Oh, that work? Okay, let's look at the Amber side of things. So this Warden, he's probably getting intel from his Wraith that say, hey, I'm on the way, you can fight this, try to make this a fight, because you guys aren't going to kill each other really fast. This is going to be a long drawn out fight if it does happen. So my guess here is that he calmed to Warden, hey, I'm here, you can fight this, let's try to take this. Whether that's a good decision or not. They probably know these two players are here. You guys have a couple of waves to push up, and then you have Ivy dead, so they're thinking, all right, maybe there's one other player here, and they're right if that was the thought process. So I like this initial leave. I don't like coming back in here though. Even if you do have Shiv, this is still like really, really suspect, and you don't know where anyone else is on their team. You have Infernus here, and then you can see this Wraith at this point, but this is kind of where throws happen too, is one strong player, and you're the strongest player on your team, makes one bad mistake, and that feels really bad. I hate when that happens to me in a game where I feel like I'm doing awesome, I'm carrying my team, and then to feel like, oh, my team has been making bad decisions all game, sure. And everyone makes bad decisions. If you didn't, you wouldn't be coming to me for advice. But it can feel bad that you make one bad decision and it can crumple the game. But just try to be extra vigilant, especially when you're the strongest player on your team, that this, I loved that you ran. That was great. And then the Shiv comes and you see Shiv and you think, let's go kill him. You don't see anyone else in their team. What happens if you kill him? It's 5-5. It's even. You're not going to gain anything from this. It's not like your whole team showing up and you're going to get some kills and then push. If their whole team shows up, you can just lose. So this is really scary. He ults. And then, of course, Wraith shows up. And then, yeah, you get absolutely melted. And it's just really not surprising. And your Paradox here shouldn't have come into this fight at all. Yeah, see, NC, nice call. They calmed that. He was aggressive for a reason. And this is just an overreaction from your team at this point. They don't need to all right, you guys died over there. They don't need to all come over here and fight now. It's probably not a good fight, especially if they're hanging around. They're hanging around for a reason. So you guys are down players. You should be backing up here. You don't want to be pushing for a fight. Again, this is not your decision at this point, but just something to think about. You guys should not be fighting up here. This is, even if it ends up going well, that doesn't make it the correct decision. Yeah, I mean, look at your waves. This is belligerent, we're ahead gameplay. And this is really easy to carry over, especially when you come into these fights and you win them and you're blowing people up, but you're not winning. Your team is not winning at this point. Look at your base. It's in shambles. Your team really needs to back up and do this, and then this is a great ridiculous earn run. This is not what needs to be happening. And then this is crazy. You gotta know better than this. This is, again, coming up here, trying to fight with your team. Look at the base. Pushing waves. This is, Abrams is not great at it. He's really slow, and in a perfect world, I don't want to be telling you to be pushing these waves. Like I said earlier, you were the strongest member on your team. I want you to be fighting. But if you're calming, if you're not calming, start talking. Say, hey, we really need someone to push back these waves. If you are doing that and they're not listening, you need to do it. Someone needs to do it. You can't just ignore it and then hope that you magically push in there and win the game. Do these waves. Hope that your team is strong enough to fight without you. And push all these waves. Do all these chores. And then if your team wins a fight, excellent. They win the fight. Everyone should be earned here. You gotta fight this at this point, basically. Especially because your team's decided that they want to. You're coming in. One death on your team. You seem kind of scared to come in here, and I get that. But I think you made a really good choice here. You didn't just run in and die. You noticed that the fight was looking poor, and you hung back and kind of you found a good pick. You probably should have just backed up at that point, though. You look for this Vindicta and you try to kill her. Oh, very good kill. Very good job. But probably an overcommitment from your team. Again, worked out. So that's always nice, but you know, just be careful. And here, this wave needs to be done. If someone says, hey, we're doing it, we'll do it when we get up. That's great. You don't have enough to push and win. So here, they have 2 players down. I wish these death timers were more accurate. Going all the way back is fine. Yeah, you guys got to buy. More defensive items. You have so much damage here, and you don't need it. When you are on top of Vindicta, you're already killing her. What you need is defense. You need these resists. The numbers being higher is so important. Yeah, looking at your build, it has some specific resist items, but mid-game it suggests improved spirit armor. That would be so good for you here. Really would help you fight in the Warden and the Yamato and the Infernus. The Vindicta to a lesser extent. This is a terrible mid call. I hate this. This is why mid bosses and MOBAs are typically called the throw pit. You're not doing this fast enough, and they're all up. So, you know, this is asking for trouble. Yeah, I like that you left here. Man, it's hard to say. Yeah, and this is what we expected to happen, right? So, what should happen here? If you are making that retreat call, say it with your chest. Do the whole thing. You said retreat. You wanted to leave, and that was the correct instinct. But here you are, still staying here. You should have gone back and started clearing waves. You shouldn't be fighting here. You're asking to die. You know, you already have 2 people dead. You're trying to make something of this fight, but this is nothing. If you die here, it's so easy for them to push in. But if you would have just backed and just cleared some waves and stuff, it makes this defense easier. Yeah, you're so big. If you would... let's check your recent damage. Lots of spirit damage coming in. But just, you know, spending more items on these defensive items, getting your resistances up. Ah, that was excellent. What did you just buy? How did you get so tanky? Oh, maybe I was looking at Mo and Krill. Yeah, look at Mo and Krill. Look how many resistances he has. Your damage is already great. You don't need more damage. And you haven't for a while, so be careful buying too many of these huge damage items when you don't need them. You really need defenses. So here they're going to start pushing in. 5 for 5. So I would like you to be a little bit further up here. You're either fighting on these guys or you're not. So if you're fighting on these guys, get up there, be big, look for a stun against this back wall. You know, whether you think you should be fighting here or not. And this is happening to you because of your low resistances. It's because this 30 bullet resist. You don't have improved bullet armor, which is listed on your build and is hyper-specific situational. But when you're looking for, especially resistances, just hit tab and look at these bars. Look at how full these yellow bars are. You need bullet resistance. Damage is great early mid-game with Abrams, especially if you're doing well. Get more damage, be a big monster. But at this point, you need defense. Your team needs you to be in front and to CC and hold their attention and be able to take a lift from Wraith and not run away scared. You need to be a front line for your team. And they're doing the damage now. You have to let go of that and think someone on your team has to be able to do the damage. And whether they do it or not, you kind of have to let them do it. Now, I like you coming back and clearing this wave. I would like to clear these other waves. Yeah, you can't just let these minions go walking in here. Mo and Krill shouldn't be pushing up. Late into the game, when we get into an hour-long game and you wipe the enemy team, yeah, sometimes you can push up a wave and get all the way through here. But you need to push your waves up. It's a slow process, and you need to have minions in there to do anything. So do that first. It's slower. You have a lot of souls to spend, but, you know, clear the minions first, then go spend the souls. You don't need the items right now. Superior duration, good item on Abrams. Really great for a lot of his abilities. You desperately need defense here. You are so, you're so squishy, and that Wraith is really showing you that.
I see Vindicta.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I stopped the chase at this point. Now it's too scary. This is an overextend, but yeah, I don't mind. You know, dump the knockdown on her. It doesn't have a long cooldown. See if you can fish for her. I would like to see you fishing for her more in fights. She is very far ahead on souls. She's really good KD. So someone on your team ideally is dealing with her. If you have a Yamato, that's great. If you have someone like a Lash who can go over there and grab her up, that's awesome. But you know, someone has to deal with her. And unfortunately, because you're so far behind on your defensive items, it's really hard to get in there and challenge that backline. Okay, you guys get a kill there. And I'm going to say it again. Your waves need to be pushed. I like you coming over here and dealing with these waves, and then your whole team dies. So, yeah, this is excellent. I really like coming back here. You know, the fight's over. You're not saving Mo and Krill. You probably have a better chance in that fight if you had more defensive items. You have a lot of life steal. How are you? Oh, well, I mean, yeah, you just got a lot of passive healing. And so you were able to leave and clear that wave and then get back up to full health. But you got so low without your defensive items that it was really hard to stay in that fight for a prolonged period of time. Yeah, you threw. I don't know that running urns wasn't necessarily your problem. Yeah, you dove the base and, like, I don't know. The first one was tough. Your first dive into base was greedy, certainly, but like you were so far ahead that sure, it could have happened. But the other ones were just like, oh, we're stronger than them, let's just win. Oh, we're stronger with them, let's just win. But that's not, that's an easy trap to fall into. After that first time, if you push in there and you do a greedy push and, maybe it's a coin flip at that point, 50-50, it works out. You guys are so strong. Once you die and you get pushed back out, you need to reevaluate everything. Say, all right, we're not ahead anymore, guys. We need to start playing slow again. But you can't be belligerent after they push you out that first time, because now they're close to evening it up. Running urns, I don't think necessarily was what needed to be done there. Although I don't disagree. When you push up those minions and you get all those waves pushed up, now you have a siege situation. Sieges aren't fast. They're slow, long fights. And so you have all this pressure. So now you're over there looking for picks, looking to see if any of them are going to make mistakes. And if they're just sitting in their base clearing their waves, they're not going to make mistakes. Okay. Once they're sitting in there and they decided, I'm not coming out, now you run urn. Now you do their back camps. At that point, you can send one person to run urn. 5 of you guys can just stand outside their walls, killing their minions, standing there like this. Take whoever the lowest, someone fast, someone who's low on souls, have them run the urn. You could sit there all day, and where you guys were, how strong you were, they're never catching up in souls because you're sitting there keeping them in their base. They can't fight you 5v6. I mean, you're too strong. And you guys are running urn. You're taking their camps. They can't do anything. The win there was pushing up all your waves and then just sitting there with your arms crossed saying, what are you guys going to do? Because they're falling behind. You're trading minions for minions, and you can be doing everything else on the map. So when you get into those positions, and it's really hard when you have a team and you're just one guy and it's 5 randoms to say, hey, we need to push up all our waves and stuff, but do your best to comms and try to be a leader in those situations and say, hey, let's just keep all the lanes pushed and let them sit in there. Do your best to talk it out with them and look for picks. If you set up this situation and they try to come out and they try to fight you guys, you kill them and win. You take the picks. If you can win from that point, do it. If you can't, just continue to sit there. They can't do anything. It's a checkmate situation. So you don't have to just run in there and win, especially if it's a ranked game. Everyone wants to win a ranked game. Take the extra 5 minutes. Do it the slow, good way. So that, number 1, keep all those waves pushed when you're doing a siege. And, number 1, communicate with your teams. Try your best to have comms. If you don't have the voice comm set up, bite the bullet and set it up. Just talk to your team. Hey guys, can we push? Try to stay positive about it, especially when you're winning. People are very receptive. You just be like, hey, let's just push in all their waves and just suffocate them. Play it slow. We'll win in 2 minutes. Talk to your team more. The other thing is number 3. Let's call it. You need more defensive items. In getting up into 20 minutes or so, you can buy all these damage items, and Frenzy is actually a really good defensive item. The 55 bullet resist is crazy, but you were really lacking spirit resist and just a staying power from, you could have had more bullet resist for the first 50% of your life, or even stacking with Frenzy towards when you got this low. You have so much health regen. You should be getting defensive items earlier, and you should get them preemptively, ideally, is best. But if you can't do that, The next best time is the first time that Wraith picked you up and shredded you. You should have thought that shouldn't happen. She's a hyper carry, and she, should kind of be able to do that to an extent. You should feel comfortable being lifted, being shot with her, and then being sat down and then charging her if it's a 1v1. Like, you should be strong enough to do that. So, get more defensive items. Your flex slots, every one of them is orange. I want to see some more green items here. Knockdown is an excellent choice, but you need to be diving this Vindicta if that's your choice. If you want to get up there and do that, this Vindicta was a monster and a huge problem for your team. And actually, it was Infernus who ended up doing all this damage. He excels in these long, drawn-out fights where he can set a burn on everyone. Again, spirit damage here. This is a huge amount of spirit damage that you're not resisting. But if you're buying that knockdown, don't be scared to get in on this Vindicta. Make her life hell. Abrams is okay with knockdown. He's not the most mobile, but he can get going pretty quick. Shield charge slam. So if you're getting that knockdown, get this Vindicta. Make her life hard. Knockdown is crazy if you land on her and you can get close to her. So, recommend that if you're going to buy knockdown. If you're not doing that, knockdown's kind of a wasted item. This Vindicta is a problem. Someone needs to buy knockdown and deal with her. I agree. But if you're not going to use it, don't buy it. This debuff remover, okay item. I like it against Warden. Can be good against his lockdown and Infernus, taking the fire off you. But probably not totally necessary on Abrams at this point. Getting locked down isn't the end of the world for you. You should be able to be locked down and be okay that you got locked down and just stand there. If they're locking you down, it means they're not locking down someone else on your team. That's good. So maybe a little bit expensive. It's nice to have that debuff resist, but either way. Slowing Hex, yeah, great to chase people down, but probably not necessary towards the end. Something like Curse to just totally ruin someone's day can be extremely strong. One of these carries or something, Hayes bought Unstoppable eventually, but if you can curse her before Unstoppable, it's great. If you can curse Wraith, excellent. So Curse would have been a really nice purple item to pick up. Silence, to a lesser extent, it's just kind of like a baby curse, but silencing Yamato, really, really good. So, yeah, the last thing, just to not ramble so much, on 3, focus more on some more life-stealing items. Your build does suggest improved spirit armor, improved bullet armor. Take these things. And, and just think about your situationals more. If you're not using knockdown, buy something else. Buy something that's going to have an effect on the game. Hell, even metal skin would have been really nice. These times you got lifted, you just metal skin, and it just telekinesis doesn't do anything anymore. Very good game. Very interesting. A very interesting study on how you can be so far ahead and what makes a siege bad, even when you're so far ahead. So thanks for showing up, guys. Thanks for if you stayed with me all the way to the end here. I appreciate it. Remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It really helps it grow. Additionally, comments. Any comment you leave, I read and respond to all of them. It means a lot to me, and it's part of what makes this content so fun to make is your guys and your comments and the different advice and the things that you guys share between each other. It's great to read, and it really helps us all learn. And then the last thing is, if you want your own coaching review, check the description of this video. I have an email and some light rules, but send them in. I love doing them, especially when you guys love sending them. And you guys have a good day.